Modified COVID restrictions.
All right, I'm here.
Keep their masks on unless they-
We're just on the treadmill, working out at the gym. Had to run home and get this live going to see the sentencing of Mr. Derek Chauvin here in the George Floyd trial. The judge is talking now. Here we go.
Yeah, we have 4 victim impact statements. We will start with the separate author of
For
Gianna Floyd, who will present hers back to you.
impact statement. For family impact statements, starting with the daughter of George Floyd on a video. George Floyd's daughter. Looks like it's a cell phone video they're playing in court.
Yeah.
Gianna Floyd, that's her name.
When you ask about it, what are you asking about?
Showing a split screen of Derek Chauvin on the left and George Floyd's daughter on the right from a pre-recorded cell phone video talking about her dad.
Do you wish that he was
Ooh, that's
here
tough.
with
What's up,
us?
Lady Sullivan? I had to come here and do a quick live to see what happens in this trial. See what happens in the sentencing of Derek Chauvin.
Yeah. And when you see your daddy again one day, what do you want to do when you see him?
I want to play with him.
What?
Yeah, I'm just covering the sentencing of George Floyd, Brendan. J&M, what's up? Good to have you here, J&M.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah. What do
We used to have dinner every single
I was at the gym, Brendan, working out. Had to run home and
My daddy always used to help me brush my teeth.
cover this George Floyd thing here.
you miss him?
That's why I'm still sweating, bro. I didn't even change. I jumped
How do
home
you
for
hope
this.
that the world remembers him?
Jumped on a live.
Well, they helped him because those mean people did something to him.
Yeah. If you could
Ooh.
say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
The mean people did something to him, said
And I love you.
George's daughter.
All right. Thank you, Gianna. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Sean. Good to see you, Sean. All right, that's the end of George Floyd's daughter's statement.
From the nephew of George Floyd, Brandon Williams.
Brendan Williams, George Floyd's nephew, is going to come up to the stand, I believe, and give a statement. Yeah, here he is. The judge is letting him take off his mask. Yeah, I'm sweating like a pig right now, man. I was working out.
On Monday, May 25th, 2020, George Perry Floyd Jr. was murdered by Derek Chauvin.
Thank you, J&M. Thank you, J&M. I don't know. What do you think?
Not only did he kill George,
I'm sorry to hear that, Sean. I hope everything's okay. I don't know. What do you think he's going to get, Brendan? You think he's going to get 10 to 20 years? I don't know. I think he's going to get 10 years.
I stand here before you tasked with the duty of expressing how George's death has impacted me personally and the rest of our family. As I racked my brain and thought about
I'm sorry to hear about that, Sean, though. Everything is all right with your heart, I hope.
It's impossible for me to stand here and convey or articulate the right words that will capture all that we are feeling and what we have felt over this period. So please bear with me as I attempt the impossible.
All right, he's going to read a long statement, sounds like. This is Brandon Williams, George Floyd's nephew, reading his statement. Yeah, you might be right, Brendan.
Words simply cannot express the pain, anguish, and suffering that our family and friends have endured since George's murder. It has been truly
Sean, you think 25 to life?
not as nearly unimaginable.
I don't think he's going to get more than 15 years, to be honest with you.
For the effect it may have on others.
I don't know.
All those children will be sentenced today and spend time in prison. He will have the luxury of seeing his family again, talking to him, and he will likely get to spend time with them upon his release. These are all luxuries that my young cousin Gianna will rob of. The children made the active decision to kill our father. There'll be no more birthday parties, no graduations, holiday gatherings, or other family celebrations. The laughter, hugs, diamonds, advice.
He's keeping it together, though.
Those opportunities to simply side up.
Brendan Williams is keeping it together reading the statement. I got to give him credit. I don't know if I would be able to keep it together without breaking down if I lost a loved one and had to give a statement in court.
I must highlight a few things. George's murder, his trial, and everything in between has been tragic and devastating.
He could, Chauvin could make a comment at the end if he wants.
It is the request of my family that the maximum penalty for the crime for which the defendant was convicted be imposed. On behalf of my family, friends, community, and supporters, I wish to express my sincerest gratitude for allowing this opportunity of expression. Thank you.
All right, Brendan. Mr. Williams here just finished his statement.
Your Honor, just for the record, this wonderful lady standing here is a Hennepin County victim advocate. Well known.
Yes, thank you.
And so, John will next hear from the brother of George Floyd, Mr. Terrence Floyd.
Terrence Floyd, brother of George Floyd, is going to come up to the stand and read his statement. I believe there's one more family member after that. Yeah, you might be right, Sean.
Yes. Terrence Floyd.
It's Terrence Floyd.
RRENCE Floyd FLOYD. Go ahead.
I gotta check my emails.
I'm here. Represent my brother.
I didn't check my emails yet.
I'm from New York. On May 25th, 2020, my brother was murdered. Everyone knows by Derek Chauvin. The facts of this case were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and 3 guilty verdicts would have been rendered.
I know, I saw it. They play tonight, bro.
The situation
8 p.m., I believe. They're going to be playing in Tampa Bay, though. That's going to be a tough stadium to play in. Oh, man.
any family member that has went through this,
As you can imagine, Terrence Floyd is getting a little emotional.
and it's not one of those.
Probably tough for him to get that statement out.
I just, over this last year and months, I actually talked to a few people, and
Yeah, I'll check out your live
I
stream,
wanted to know
Lady Sullivan. I'll check out your live stream.
why? What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your meeting with Brother's Lake? Why, when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, yeah, he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there?
Actually, a pretty powerful statement from Terrence Floyd.
A month before my brother was murdered, I was on the phone with him, and we had a long conversation.
Thumbs up, Lady Sullivan, to that link. Thumbs up.
And as I looked at the video.
No, I'm on a laptop, Brendan.
The last conversation me and my brother had was he wanted to have play dates. He wanted to plan play dates with Gianna and my daughter. And we started setting it up. That can't happen. And my daughter's still young, but I still have to explain her because this is history. This is a case everybody knows about. So she's gonna find out, and I'm gonna have to explain that to her.
Terrence is talking about his daughter.
And I think that's pretty hard to leave it just standing here.
Sure, lady, sure. Thank you, lady,
Tell
sure.
her, about her niece, about her uncle, about the situation. That's basically reliving it all over again. Years down the line.
It's a pretty powerful statement from Terrence Floyd right now.
I'm here on behalf of my family. Sorry. On behalf of me and my family, we seek the maximum penalty. We don't want to see no more slaps on the wrist. We've been through that already. In my community, in my culture, we've been through that already. Smacked on the wrist. No.
What's up, James?
Because if it was us, if it was the Rosens were first, there wouldn't be no case. It would have been open and shut. We'd have been under the jail for murdering somebody. So we asked for that same penalty for Derek Chauvin. Thank you.
Terrence Floyd just ended his statement saying he wants the maximum penalty for Derek Chauvin, just like his nephew said prior, and this should be the last.
You're on the final victim impact statement for the state.
It is final impact statement.
Brother, Phalonis Floyd.
Phalonis Floyd gonna come up to the stand and give some testimony here, or impact statement rather.
Sir, if I could use your full name and spelling of your names, and I have permitted you to use your phone because you know it's out of the site, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Thanks, Lady Sullivan. You're the best. Lady Sullivan, USA. You are the best.
Phalonis Floyd, spelled Philonise. Last name Floyd, Floyd.
And you may proceed.
Derek Chauvin could also appeal within 90 days. So
1 year ago.
oh wow, Lady Sullivan. I owe you one, Lady Sullivan. You're the best. You're the best, lady. Thank you so much.
Broad daylight with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
Wow, you know a lot of people, Lady Sullivan.
I was a trucker, and immediately my life changed forever. I began to speak to the world for George from the United Nations, Africa, Canada, Japan, and so many other countries.
Phalonis Floyd is talking about how he spoke in front of other local governments and other countries about all of this.
Begged and pleaded for Officer Chauvin to simply just allow George to take a breath. I haven't had a real life.
Oh, wow.
Nightmares I constantly have hearing my brother beg and plead for his life over and over again. Even saying they want to kill me. Please, officer. Screaming for all.
Curly has a channel now?
I have had to sit through each day of Officer Derek
Curly has a
Chauvin's
channel.
and watch the video of George dying for hours over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't just take a plea deal, Sean Mack. Maybe he was cocky, maybe he thought, hey, nothing's gonna happen to me, I don't know.
I've been lifting my voice tirelessly every day so that George's death will not be in vain.
Sean, did you think the trial would have been in jeopardy when they found out one of the jurors attended Black Lives Matter rallies months prior to this and lied about it on his jury form?
To give Officer Chauvin
Hey, Rochelle Rollins.
charge that he has been found guilty for.
What's up, Rollins? Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I was able to stop by, Rollins. I only allow women on my channel this time. I'm a puppet of many girlfriends. Jesus Christ.
He would never be able to walk with Gianna down the aisle in her wedding.
Columbus, Florida, just giving a statement.
Moments of her life, like a daddy-daughter dance.
Giving a statement on
Seeing her out for prom graduation.
his niece.
And she would never be able to have any personal memories with her father.
Hey, Pino. What's up, Pino? I mean, I thought maybe something would have happened with that when they found out one juror went to George Floyd rallies months prior to the trial and lied about it. But
stand before you today asking you
yeah.
to please help us find closure by giving Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, making sure he does this.
As you imagine, Philonise Floyd is saying he wants the maximum sentencing for Derek Chauvin. And I think that's it for the statement. Yep, that's it. Another attorney for prosecution.
Here today, of course, for sentencing gives us an opportunity to speak about other matters that I think are involved in sentencing and where we are in the criminal justice system, processing this case. As a member of an elected office, representing the people of the state.
Well, I'm Travis, and yes, you can. Yes.
People of the local community.
Yes.
I want to say a couple of things.
Go ahead, Rollins.
First of all, I want to really thank.
It's Matthew Frank, Minnesota Assistant Attorney General, is just giving a little statement right now.
Who, under great pressure.
Yeah, it is, Sean. You're my mentor, Sean. You're my mentor,
Their
Sean.
occupations.
CG, what's up, CG?
Devoted their life to.
CG, you watching the trial?
Stuck to their oath and their commitment as police officers to speak openly and honestly about policing and the training that is given and received.
Matthew Frank is just talking about the Minneapolis Police Department and the training that they receive
They came forward. They told
and the
us
oath and all that, the oath they take, and
what they knew about training and responsibility. And I think they deserve recognition and credit for that. I'd also like to thank members of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. You know, those agents get called in, great sacrifice in their personal lives, whenever things happen, they go. They did that here, and under really extraordinary circumstances, completed a.
it looks like Matthew Frank is just giving a recap of everything they've gone through the last year.
But conducting them in the atmosphere of the city following the murder of George Floyd was even more difficult. And they did so, I think, above and beyond the call of duty.
Derek Chauvin is just looking on as Matthew Frank recaps all the stuff we already know.
You know, I want to thank the family, the loved ones, the friends of George Floyd. They have been through so much more than families involved in murder cases. That's right. It's a fraternity you don't want to be part of. But they've been through so much more because of the pandemic and because
I would imagine that Nelson will have a rebuttal and a statement of his own, since Matthew Frank is giving a statement now.
at a time when they try to grieve, like everybody does for loss.
They tried to get an appeal, but the judge denied it.
And I want to thank them.
Judge denied the
All of
appeal
them, the family.
for a new
Court
trial.
testimony
So
from Florence Floyd, Courtney Ross. These are
there's
people
Lady
who
Sullivan's
deal
little
with their loss.
looks
But
like
they have to do it
little
very
contest giveaway there.
well, but under very trying circumstances, through no fault of their own.
And don't forget
They have all been
my buddy
models
CG
of
here
grace
as well.
and understanding. And it's really
And Rollins,
remarkable.
don't forget Rollins.
I'll, I think, come back to them again in a little bit. Your Honor, we have submitted a sentencing brief.
All right, Matthew Frank is going to say what he expects from this sentencing and what
I think there are things that I want
the punishment he
to
wants
bring
it to
out
be.
today in my arguments. For
Oh man, I'm glad we were able to provide some laughs for you. Yeah, Angie Hicks and my mom are hilarious when they're together on my live stream, which isn't often.
The trial court sat through the trial, watched the evidence, saw how it affected.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Peanut Butter?
The court's discretion. When the legislature passed the guidelines, it's a legitimate attempt to try and even out sentences. They defined certain presumptive sentences, as we all know, for typical crimes.
So Matthew Frank is just pleading his case on why he has picked what he believes is the correct sentencing for Derek Chauvin. He's just rambling on a little bit while Derek Chauvin looks on, talking about the guidelines of, you know, what he thinks the correct prison sentence will be for Derek.
When there are aggravating factors,
He's going to get into the aggravating factors of
then what the guidelines.
the sentencings, which I believe one of them was committing
And as you know, we are asking.
the act in front of minors.
As this court found, there are 4 aggravating factors. that-
Yes, I'm shocked you have a curly channel,
They
Brendan.
go beyond a list of just what those factors are. We have not just done our homework and found a list.
If anybody gets a chance, could you just check out Mr. Peanut Butter's channel?
Those factors,
Show him some love.
and we think they justify.
Yeah, Sean, I'm glad, you know,
This is not
we could have
typical second degree.
lightened the mood for you when you were in the hospital.
Supreme Court in our state has said that.
Angie is hilarious.
Even one aggravating factor is sufficient to go twice the top of the range. Here we have 4.
Mr. Peanut Butter and Rochelle Rollins, if you guys could show them some love.
Position of trust
Thank you.
and authority. The court specifically.
All right.
When Mr. Chauvin was acting as a police officer, he had a position of trust and authority. That is certainly true.
Matthew Frank
Trust police officers.
is arguing that Derek Chauvin had
We call that threat.
been in a position of trust
Take care of the problems that they
when
are-
handling the arrest of George Floyd.
We also give them great authority. We give them great power. We give them power to use force that individuals would be prosecuted for using. Right? We give them authority to arrest, to detain. And with great power, of course, comes great responsibility.
Great power, great responsibility. That's the speech Matthew Frank is giving right now.
Works all of that through the trial, in general and in specific, to Mr. Chauvin and the other 3 officers. They're given
This is all things we already know.
proportional use of force. The force used
It's all things we already
has to
know.
be warranted by the threat. They're given training on de-escalation. Because we recognize
Training on de-escalation. We already know this.
are called in when people are not having their best day, when people might be affected by mental illness, drug use, any number of issues. They're just having a bad day, and they're trained for that, and should be. And they're taught how to use that to de-escalate.
Well, Matthew Frank's just basically, you know, attacking the credibility of Derek Chauvin and how he acted that day irresponsibly, and he's supposed to be a trusted officer of the law, and he wasn't. So he's just giving a statement on that as Derek Chauvin just looks on
Being a police officer is
like
a
he did
difficult job. We ask
this
a lot.
whole process.
It's a profession, there's no doubt about it. But we give them a substantial amount of training.
I'm
And most officers-
interested in hearing what
This case
Eric
wasn't
Nelson will say
about
when he gets to talk.
Police officers, all police officers. It wasn't about policing. This case was about Derek Chauvin disregarding all that training he received and assaulting Mr. Floyd until he suffocated to death. One of the things that
Hey, Mr. Peanut Butter, what do you think's going to happen in this trial? I didn't ask you. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think Derek Chauvin will get sentenced with? Mr. Peanut Butter.
It's in your care. And it's a real simple mantra. It's a real easy thing to remember. You're going to take custody of somebody. You have to provide care. You have to do it.
Matthew Frank is talking about how you were supposed to provide care when someone's in your custody. Again, it's all things we already heard and knew about.
Abused his position of trust and authority as a police officer.
Talking about how Derek Chauvin abused his power during that arrest that day.
Because what did he decide to do? We often are
Lady Sullivan, you have a ton of friends. Lady Sullivan.
Infer people's state of mind by their conduct and their statements. What was Derek Chauvin's end game here? What was the plan? It seems apparent the plan was pull him down so we can dump him in an ambulance.
Sorry, I lost connection for a minute. My cable box has a broken cord in it, and I gotta replace the cord because it's not holding a good enough connection anymore. So, Matthew Frank's still giving his very extended statement here.
That's the rub. It was the need to get him in that backseat no matter what. And we all saw that once he was pulled out of that backseat.
Literally saying all the things we already knew.
He willingly went down to the ground. They were going down, he said. He went down
about
to the ground,
arrest.
Not punching. And he was placed in Michigan.
Derek Chauvin initiated.
He's placed on his side in the recovery position, like he should be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Eric's going to have a statement though too. You have to give, you have to give the defense a time to talk too. So this is going to.
Put his left knee on George Floyd's neck, his right knee on George Floyd's back, face down on the pavement, and Officer King sit on Mr. Floyd's waist area, and Officer Lane.
I think this is just,
You can even see Mr.
they want to keep some things fresh in the mind of the judge to possibly sway,
that fear when you all of a sudden realize
you
have trouble
whatever they could sway. But
we want to survive. We know we have to breathe.
this judge is very professional. He's been a judge for a long time. He knows what he's going to do. He knows what he's going to sentence.
And you can see Mr. Floyd going through that. He tries to pull his feet up. But he's held down by these three officers. Officer Tao is looking at him. There, of course, goes to keep the people who want to help away.
The only thing that I'm truly worried about though is,
So harshly.
yeah,
And it rubs his
I
stomach.
probably would agree with that.
His
but-
injuries to his face from being
Excuse
face
me.
down. He has injuries to his knuckles.
The only thing that I'm worried about is if it's less than 20 years, what's going to happen in
He's telling Officer
Minneapolis after this
King, "I can't
sentencing.
breathe." And dying. And Mr. Chauvin's response was, And all this time. Can you imagine what Mr. Floyd is going through? You're talking about particular cruelty and torture. Really try to appreciate what he's going through. He knows he's suffocated. We don't know that. Feeling of not being able to breathe enough. He's begging, he's pleading, he's being ignored.
Man.
By somebody who has taken custody.
It's gonna be like a full recap from Matthew Frank talking about how
He was kept in that prone position for 9.5
George
minutes.
Floyd was in the prone position for 9 minutes and unable to breathe. It's all things we already went over. All things that have already been spoken about and talked about.
A typical second-degree unintentional murder. Significantly more. This is not a momentary gunshot, punch to the face. This is 9.5 minutes.
Hey, you're almost there though, Peanut Butter. You're almost there.
Was helpless and just begging for his life.
You mean your house is getting large? Your house is getting large, Brendan.
Standing only a few feet from these officers. These children-
I really want to see Eric. Look, Mom, sentencing. Oh, can you come over here and just say hi to everybody real quick?
Sentencing of who?
What do you? The prison sentencing. What do you think? Who?
Oh, he looks terrible.
Yeah, he looks like a skinhead, doesn't he?
Well, what?
Just pop in
What
and
is
say
he
hi real
getting-
quick. There's almost.
What is he getting sentenced for?
He was found guilty, so this is going to be what. Just peek in here and say hi to everybody,
And
please.
who's this yo-yo?
That's the prosecution. All right, don't say hi to everybody.
What? I didn't
There's
hear you.
fucking 400 people in here. Just pop in and go hi.
A man being suffocated by police officers. Such a stark sight.
It's Sean Mack, Mr. Peanut Butter, Brendan, Lady Sullivan. And then these are all
Why
ladies.
is everybody on so early
Lady
today?
Sullivan. I wasn't gonna. I actually
It's
was.
only 3 o'clock.
I was gonna go early at 4 p.m. because the Mets game is, and I wanted to cover it. But this came up, and I wanted to cover this as
So I'm
well.
saying, how did you get 400 people?
They're all friends with Lady Sullivan right here. Lady Sullivan has a ton of friends. So check out Lady Sullivan and all her homies.
Nice hairstyle. Who's that?
That's Minister Brandon pretending to be his puppet Curly.
What's the matter with my hair?
He might be talking about my hair.
Oh,
Sean says hello. So this is
Sean
Matthew.
who?
What do you mean Sean? Who? Sean from Long Island.
Oh,
out east.
Sean. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's Matthew Frank, the Assistant General Attorney for the prosecution. And then that's just the split screen. That's Derek Chauvin on the right.
He looks terrible.
His attorney hasn't spoke yet, Eric Nelson.
So, all right, how many, sorry, I'm eating a cookie.
It's all right. Don't
How
forget
many,
it. Oh, my shirt came.
all right. What's his goal, this guy?
Which one?
How long does he want him to go to jail for?
I think
For
30,
life?
30 years. What are they asking for? 30 years? The max, Sean?
30 years? Really? I think that's a little overkill, no?
You do?
You think 30 years?
Oh, man, it's gonna be fucking slim fit, isn't it?
What is that?
The shirt.
Why is it got, it looks like something from a deck of cards.
It matches my tattoo on my arm.
And it really made no effort
Okay.
to take care of the person in their custody.
Might be a little tight. We'll have to see. Oh, get off my
This
feet.
is all just sentencing for,
The guilty verdict that happened in
So-
April.
okay, for, Floyd.
Yeah, for killing Floyd.
Who is identified as a medical
What's wrong with it?
firefighter.
You pick some weird stuff, man.
That was just-
Hey, man.
Are we gonna leave?
This doesn't, I can already tell this isn't gonna fit me. Actually, it might.
Trained medical people from providing.
That should, right?
If that doesn't fit you, you have a problem.
You have a problem.
I don't have a problem.
You have a problem. What is this box?
Don't know.
Adage that abuse.
Hey, Guardians of Chaos. What's up?
Yeah, I know the defense has asked.
30 years, everybody thinks he should get?
Brendan, what did you say you thought? 20 years?
Yes.
What I don't get is why is Matthew Frank given this extended? But then,
That's not his attorney.
no, I just told you that's persecution. His defense is Eric Nelson. Eric,
Relax. Take a
Okay.
chill pill.
listen to what I'm saying.
All
Eric
right.
Nelson
I
is gonna
just
get.
walked in the door.
Eric Nelson is gonna get his chance to speak. Eric Nelson tried to get this thrown
Who
out.
wants a peanut butter and jelly
We
sandwich?
believe
I don't know.
that
He should get 30, but I bet he'll be 10 to
He should
15.
get 30, we think, really?
I think he gets 10 to 15.
Upward,
I'm gonna go with 20.
because there are 4 of them. standing alone.
I'm thinking like 20.
Not a
Okay.
coming together
You should get
to
30, Curly says.
Guardians of Chaos says he's not going to last in prison. No, he's not. He's not even in general pop, I don't think.
See?
show for departure.
What?
He thinks 10 to 15.
I know, so do I. 10 to 15.
We're asking the court.
I don't know.
Oh, it's my microphone.
All 4 factors.
Okay.
It's super
He's
small,
not
though.
going to last in prison, we think?
I mentioned before, Aaron, this is sentencing. This is the time for the
You think an inmate is gonna kill him?
I don't think he's not in general
the
population.
victim.
Well, what's gonna happen to him then? He's gonna kill himself?
I don't know. Ask him.
He doesn't look very good.
Would you look very good?
No. He should get 30.
Oh, he's getting emotional. Look.
Who is?
Matthew Frank.
I spent 25 years behind the walls. Trust me.
Oh yeah, you worked in the prison.
Oh, really? 25 years. Oh, you must have seen some
He was also a bodyguard, I believe.
crazy stuff, huh?
We recognize that this harm
Where the fuck is this thing go?
while we
Don't
can't
have to
feel it's your
constantly curse on
crime,
the thing.
we know we can.
Yeah, dude, it's my shtick.
Your criminal justice system should do is recognize the severity of this crime and reflect that in the sentence to be given. It's time for this criminal justice system to say, we recognize this is more serious than a typical second-degree unintentional murder. For reasons the court
Wow.
found, reflect that.
What?
And give this court more than adequate.
'Cause he's getting emotional?
Go to one of the Supermax prisons
We
out
ask the
west.
court to impose a sentence of
Why? What's there?
360
He
months.
will.
Gangs.
The Commissioner of Corrections.
I mean, there's gangs and
And
everything.
no, Your Honor, there are no fines in murder cases.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people still missing in that Florida.
Yeah, that's
Clarify that.
terrible.
And present that to the court
That's really
for 30 days. Thank you.
very sad. And you know that building? The people that were
Were
living
complaining
there were
that-
complaining that there was something wrong with the structure on that building.
Yeah, it was creaking and whatnot.
Oh, who's the landlord to this building?
Slumlord?
Well, then he's in trouble too.
Florida has different building code than New York, though.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor.
That has nothing to do with building code or whatever. If you have people paying rent and stuff and complaining about certain structure of the building, you don't go and check it
Who
out?
is this?
And proceed when you're ready.
Carolyn, Carolyn.
Oh, she's gonna say who she is.
Pawlenty, Pawlenty. I am the mother of Derek Sholin.
Oh God,
I am here to speak on
This is
behalf
his
of
mother.
my entire family.
she looks like a sister.
On November 25th, 2020,
Wow.
not only did.
Look how he doesn't even show any emotion for his mom.
You don't know that, Travis. First of all, he's got a mask on. Let me tell you something.
Don't
These
defend him.
masks, I'm not defending him, but these masks don't show emotion on people. When I'm in the store working and I have the mask on, people can't tell if you're smiling, you're laughing, you're making fun of them or whatever. It's very hard.
Public and prosecution team believe Derek to be an aggressive, heartless, and uncaring person. I
Seems
can
that way.
tell you that it's far from the truth. My son's identity has also been reduced to that as of
Carolyn
that as a
Pawlenty,
racist.
Derek Chauvin's mother.
A girl from Tennessee is
Want
making
this
that.
court to
I have
know
no idea.
that none of these things are true, and that my son is a good man.
Okay.
Derek's always
He's
dedicated
upset under there. You can
to
tell by the way his Adam's apple is
life and
moving
to the
underneath
police
there.
department.
When
Well, it's
people
his
get
mom. I
upset.
would hope he would show emotion for his mom. He didn't show emotion for anything else.
You don't know that. He's always had a mask on his face too. So
I'm
how
saying
would
in
you
public,
know?
he's never shown any type of
Oh,
remorse.
yeah. Okay.
He sits there and takes notes.
He has a big heart, and he always has put others before his own.
Is everybody that you're on with watching
Never
this?
know
I don't think so.
the loving and caring.
Is anybody watching this on TV? Or is it just us yo-yos
Put
over here?
this thing on.
What's
He
this?
said, no,
It's a studio mic.
You had one already.
No, I didn't.
What's that thing that you go around with?
100%.
It's a selfie stick.
And always will.
Her name is Summer Wells, last seen in her basement.
Had the
Seems
events of
weird.
that day. I've seen the toll it
Okay.
has taken on him.
I don't know who Summer.
Chauvin deserves everything that comes his way. It's in the Lord's hands now as far as his soul. Yeah, I agree with you, Guardian.
When you sentence my son, you will also be sentencing me.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I will not be able to see Derek, talk to him on the phone, or give him our special hug. Plus the fact that when he is released, his father and I most likely will not be here.
Oh, Sean is watching it.
Yeah, I know, I just saw. Does he have any children?
I don't think so.
This guy?
He had a wife, but she divorced him like the next day. Or the day after he was guilty or something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Derek, my happiest moment is when they gave birth to you.
He still doesn't look like he's showing a whole lot of emotion.
Travis, he could be on a lot of medication, you know.
I was honored to pin your police badge on you. I remember you whispering to me, "Don't stick me with it."
He is so crying, you can see right there.
All right, yeah, now he's showing a little emotion.
I have always believed
Little
in your
personality.
innocence,
What?
and I will never
Little personality.
waver from that. I
How
have
does this
met
go
numerous
on
others
here?
You have to put
people
it
around the
through,
world
open that cage thing.
that
and
also
I'm
put it
trying to
through.
believe in your
oh.
innocence.
Got it.
Oh, you mean I knew something that you didn't know? You always tell me, ooh, you don't know what you're doing, Mom.
No matter where you go, where you
It's hot in here, Travis.
are,
Why?
I will always
So I was
be there
working
to
out and I was
visit
getting a good sweat going.
I promise you I will stay strong, as we talked about, and I want you to do the same for me.
Where's his dad? Did he not have a
I
dad?
will do what you told me to do,
I don't know.
take care of myself. So, I will be here for you when you come home.
I don't think he's gonna be coming home anytime soon, so.
Yeah, neither do
More
I.
love than a mother's love. One final thought I want you to remember. Remember, you are my favorite son.
Oh, it's his only
Thanks for
son.
your time.
I think she has a son and a daughter. Travis, I wish I was there to help you with your mic, LOL. Yeah. I think I got it, Brendan. I don't know if I need the spit guard.
I really don't know.
That's his
That's
attorney.
his attorney. I know. I know.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Oh,
It is my
I'm so
intent to
tired of
remarks
watching
this
the
afternoon.
news. I don't know how you people watch the news. Very depressing after a while. It's not good for your
The
mind.
facts of this case.
Is anything good for your mind in today's
No,
world?
not-
Substantial time,
Not after this year and a half.
looking at the law. The court is very familiar with the facts of this case, and the parties have fully briefed the court relevant to the sentencing factors.
Mama Berg, are you feeling better?
Any case, any sentencing.
Are you feeling better, Mama Berg?
From when?
The court is
When you
tasked
weren't
with-
feeling good a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, until I ate out with my sister and got
You should know better.
rather
some
than
kind of like food poisoning Wednesday.
The court must
Oh,
take
nice.
into consideration
Yeah, we had
victim
some
impact,
kind of bacteria in
public
spinach. We
interest,
both got sick.
as
I
well as the
told you.
circumstances and the history of the
Half an
defendant.
hour after we ate it.
And in this case, more than any other,
This mic
like
sucks.
many of us have ever been involved in,
Well, how much did it cost you?
I don't know, $18?
Oh, you get what you paid for.
in my remarks today, I just wish to briefly address each of those three
Who's
considerations.
giving me a virtual hug?
starting
Lady
with the
Sullivan.
public
Thank you.
impact.
I'll take it.
As I believe we are all.
Oh, it goes like that.
This case is at the epicenter of a cultural and political divide. We tried to keep a lot of that out of the courtroom
At a
and try
Chinese place.
and make this case about
I don't know.
facts.
Where did you get the spinach from?
Oh,
What is
no, it was a diner. I had, an egg white omelet with spinach in it. My sister, and with both of us, and within 20 minutes, we were
This
both sick.
overly lenient and insufficient to satisfy justice. But there are an equal number of people who will view any sentence you pronounce as draconian or overbearing. Either way,
My grandmother
some
had, she
percentage
said
of the
her
public
stomach was always
will view
rumbling
your
until
sentence
she had
as a
it
miscarriage
out.
of justice.
Okay, yeah, I hear that.
The
I hear
intensity
you.
of the public interest
My
in this
surgeon won't
case
take it out yet.
cannot be understated. I trust that the volume of correspondence that each of us has received from the public at large
Yeah, not good.
is indicative of these very sentiments.
He's not convinced it's my gallbladder, so I gotta hang in there till I have
As I
another
was
attack.
informed just yesterday,
That
Attorney
that
General's
looks right.
office established a website.
I don't know how to get the spit guard on it though.
Now, don't ask me, I don't know nothing about this.
Again, in my understanding is in a little over 2 weeks, they received over 1,000 submissions.
What is he
Again,
arguing,
on both sides.
Eric Nelson?
I don't know, I missed it. It's very hot in here and I'm
My
getting a headache.
primary
You're
justice,
fine.
since my
Why don't you put the air on?
representation of Mr. Chauvin began last summer, I would have estimated that I have received over 5,000
What
emails,
do you have it set?
over 1,000.
No, you gotta turn it on cold.
And hundreds of handwritten letters. Again, from both sides.
Oh, you have the fan
And I
on.
expect
Doy,
your Honor has
doy.
likewise been inundated with public comment and scrutiny. The impact that this case has had on this community is profound.
It's very
It
depressing.
goes far beyond what happened.
Don't you find this very depressing?
I want to see what the sentencing is, regardless if it's depressing or
I
not.
know,
It
but
has
it's very
taken the
depressing.
forefront of our national
There's no
consciousness.
good outcome for anybody.
It has
Yeah.
weaved its way into
He's gonna go to
every-
jail.
Nearly every facet of our lives.
And that poor man
The
suffocated.
entertainment that we consume
And everybody's shooting
to
each other.
presidential politics.
Don't worry, it's very
From
small.
protests
Okay, thanks.
to
Snip and
conspiracies.
gone.
In the end, it is my sincere hope that when
Thank
this
you.
proverbial death settles, the community impact brings forth principled debate.
It's a beautiful day. You should get outside and go for a walk.
Discourse,
Oh,
and ultimately leads
Well,
to public.
The beauty of summer is passing you by.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody, it's a nice day here.
And nevertheless,
Go for a walk.
while this court may consider the
Enjoy the fresh air. Look at the beautiful flowers,
the
Travis.
court must turn to the foundational legal principles.
He doesn't listen to me
And
anymore.
remember that
I'm gonna
justice
go back and
is
eat my cookie.
blind. Law is built on
Hi,
reason and
Mommy.
common sense.
I'm gonna come in here. Come here. Come here, my cookie. Come over here. Come over here. Hurry up. Come on.
Turning to the second consideration, which is the victim impact.
See,
The death of
Mommy?
George Floyd. The death of George Floyd was tragic.
Say hello, everybody.
He is loved
Hope is
by
here.
his family members. He is loved by his friends.
I'm in front of a fan. You need an air conditioner.
And
I'm
his
standing in
death
front of
is
my air conditioner.
justifiably mourned by those
Say
whose
hello,
lives
everybody.
he is a son,
stop. She doesn't like that.
brother,
Yeah, she does. Say hello, everybody. All right.
and as the court heard today, the impact and the loss of his life, simply just can't be simplified. And it will take time.
Oh, this is giving me a headache, everybody. This
Finally,
stuff makes me nervous.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Gotta figure out how this mic works, Brenda.
The aggravating factors is to take into consideration the mitigating factors. And the mitigating factors is set
Okay, it's not going in.
guidelines really point to the TROG analysis, essentially ultimately.
Where's the switch?
With that being said, when we look at the TROG factors, who is Derek Chauvin? Derek Chauvin spent 19 years as a Minneapolis police officer. He loved being a police officer.
Last time I buy fucking anything online again.
Representation and had numerous conversations with his fellow police officers or fellow police police officers that worked with Derek, some retired, some still active. And they told me that he was a solid police officer, that he did his job, that if somebody asked him to do a particular task, he never complained, he did it. One person told me that one of his sergeants told me that I had something to pitch for the
Hello?
force.
Why is this not working?
He never complained for a second.
Yeah, 410, Sean.
He was decorated as a police officer. Multiple life-saving awards. He was decorated for valor. He was proud to be a police officer because what he liked to do was help people. And his statistics show the vast majority of police work is helping people.
It's not working.
He was proud to be a police officer. He served his country in the United States Army.
But anything I buy should fucking work, Brendan.
A brother and a father.
No, it's not working.
Short staff. I know from numerous conversations that I've had with Derek that his brain.
Why is it not working?
What if I just hung on?
Oh my god.
What if things had gone differently? What if I never responded to that call?
But my mic isn't working though, that's what I'm saying. You can still hear me, but nothing.
The end result is that
The mic isn't working, Brendan.
arbitrary verdicts.
Nothing. Hello? Hello? Nothing. You can hear me talking normally. The mic isn't working. The mic isn't working, Brendan.
The Minnesota Sentencing Guidelines Commission was established.
It works, but you sound like the Backstreet Boys.
And yes, the court in circumstances like these has
It
a
works.
discretion.
You guys are just hearing me talk. You're not hearing the actual mic work.
Established by second-degree murders. Someone robs a liquor store, a police officer is involved in an incident, the person dies.
Thank you, Brendan.
The law presumes, the legislature presumes, that the sentencing guidelines as established sufficient penalty for all.
What do? I go to my microphone settings and then what, Brendan?
From 2019 back to 2010, a total of 90 people were sentenced for second-degree murder. Those sentences, those people are more than that. The people who had a zero criminal history score, more than 90 people were sentenced. 67% or 60 of those 90 people received a guideline sentence of 150 months. So 2/3 of all people in this same position received a guideline sentence. 20% received an aggravated sentence.
This?
And 13%
I don't know where it goes.
were granted mitigated departures.
I do not know where it goes.
So if the legislature and the intent of the sentencing guidelines is to eliminate sentencing disparity, the law should presume that the guideline sentence is what is appropriate.
I don't know where it goes.
Which may take into consideration at this point those aggravating factors. You have to counterbalance them, which is the goal of the law with the mitigating factors. I know that this has been an incredibly difficult case for the Floyd family to have to
reasoned manner, and it poses a justice.
I don't know, man.
Nelson at the Laker.
Is Derek Chauvin about to speak? Oh my God, Derek Chauvin's about to speak.
This is your opportunity if you wish to give any.
Is he going to speak?
And so I turn it over to you and your turn.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind. Thank you.
And I'll note that I did read your comments in the pre-sentence investigation as well.
You said there's going to be things.
Take a 15-minute recess so that I can complete the sentencing order.
There's going to be some things that may give the Floyd family some peace of mind. Apparently, said Derek Chauvin. They're going to a 15-minute recess. 15-minute recess, and then the judge is going to hand out his sentencing.
For Derek Chauvin. Let's broad this out now. We've got CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Ellie Honig, CNN political commentator Van Jones, CNN legal analyst Jennifer Rogers, and CNN senior law enforcement.
I don't know how this fucking thing goes.
We've heard each side make their case.
$18, Brendan. $18.
Heart-wrenching victim impact statements. They ended up first hearing from Gianna.
Why does everything have to be fucking complicated when I buy stuff? I know I'm incompetent, but fuck, it's a mini mic. Why does everything have to fucking be
My daddy still brushed my teeth.
impossible?
That's how little kids process. The people in their lives, the hugs, the snuggles, the jokes. I want to play games with my daddy. I ask about it every day. Violence for the facts.
How does this fucking thing go? The rubber band's all fucking broke.
The family did a beautiful job of delivering what it is today. From the oldest person in the family that's traveled the world.
Yeah, indeed.
That little girl. If the judge has anything written down on a pad of paper, I guarantee you it's about them. Jennifer, let me come to you that the state really focused in on those aggravating factors, going through each one, that this was a crime of particular cruelty, abuse of a position of trust, the presence of minors, and 3 or more participants, speaking specifically about those officers.
Oh, that's not right.
Hone in clearly enough to be effective for this judge.
And I broke it.
I think so, Victor. I mean, this is what they had to do in order to allow the judge to go above the 12.5-year guideline sentence. They wanted to go as high as 30 years. And so
Flip it
they had
in
to
this
justify
way.
that. How does what happened fit within the categories, the legal categories
Like
set
this?
forth in those 4 different factors? And I think they did. I mean, particularly the first 2. I mean, the abuse of authority.
I think I clip it in this way.
Particular death. I mean, we all saw the video, over and over and over. There's just no real justification for that. And so when Eric Nelson talked about all the other second-degree murders and how most of them were guideline sentences, what he didn't really address is how this one was vastly different. And it's different because it fits so well within those 4 factors. 10.5 minutes, 9.5 minutes on the net. This is not your typical second-degree murder case, and that's why prosecutors are saying it's more than legally justified in going well with the guideline.
I keep thinking back to Gianna's statement, man, and I
Does it sound different?
had victims' families come testify in proceedings like this. I've never seen a child that young.
All right, we're good. I got it.
Traumatized. I've never seen a statement quite so.
I got it.
And I think touching, and it really points out for me why sentencing are so difficult, because
Now,
nobody can ever undo.
I don't know how to put
what's
the
been
fucking
done to
shield
Floyd
in front of
family.
it.
I think it was Falonis who said my
I
family.
can't look it up on
was served a
YouTube
life
right now.
sentence. This is the best.
My gain is too high.
He said because of some other elements of the federal case that's still out there.
Yeah, he's got a couple concerns. First, he has 2 federal indictments, right? And by the way, remember this when the mother talks about what a wonderful person he is. Not only has he now been convicted, of the murder of George Floyd. He's also charged federally.
I'm okay if the gain is a little too high.
So we're getting a 14-year-old in the head with a flashlight. So keep that in mind. But
It's the least of my problems right now.
And he's going to want to appeal. Certainly will appeal in this case. And if he gets up there and admits his guilt and acknowledges guilt, that can be used against him. So commonly when someone's convicted in a trial like this, you will see them essentially pass on the opportunity to speak.
Commissioner Ramsey, specifically on that aggravating factor of the abuse of position of trust, which seems uniquely linked to his role as a police officer. The defense tried to use that as one of the
I don't know where Mike's settings is on this laptop, Brendan.
Well, he clearly didn't.
Remember, I'm not tech savvy.
No question about that, and certainly the impact statements were all powerful, including Chauvin's mother. But my personal opinion is he should receive a sentence above the guidelines. To me, there is no question about that. What he did was totally inexcusable outside of policy, outside of training, outside of law, you name it. I mean, what you
Mic settings?
in that video,
I'm in mic settings and there's nothing that says game settings.
I mean,
Speech?
9 minutes and 30
Nope.
seconds or so on this man's
Microphone.
neck, he does not resist.
It doesn't even give me an option to change any type of shit.
I don't think the guidelines as they're written apply in this
Let me
case.
see.
I do think that there are aggravating
Volume control.
that the judge will take into consideration and hopefully
Could lower the
not something
speaker
that's sentenced that is
headphones.
more just than just 15 years as a maximum. I mean, George.
Why's everything gotta be so fucking complicated?
And so when you stop and you think about it, there's just no comparison.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that one of the gang members would point out, talked about, in
Nah, it doesn't even let me
what we go through. We've seen big time for dingy crime
at 50.
in our community over and over and over again. Everybody has a cousin, everybody has a neighbor that they went to high school with.
Put volume control at 50.
For some victimless crime,
Okay.
around, drug possession, something like that. So we got a community kind of bracing for maybe a sucker punch here. Like, a slap on the wrist, you heard over again, a slap on the wrist, slap on the wrist. Why? Because you have the community, we know what those courts usually do. Much less damage, much less evidence, and big time. So small time here is not going to be something.
Let's go up to Sarah Sacker. She is there at the intersection.
There's nothing to hook this on.
Sarah, I was watching at the monitor just outside, right at the edge of the set here, people watching the hearing on their phones. What are you hearing from people who are watching this?
I'll give you a look this year. There are people, more and more people are starting to come out here. This has been opened up, over the past few weeks. But they have kept the barriers, they have put them here so that you can see and protect the George Floyd Memorial. But what we just heard literally a few minutes ago was on the other side of the street where the gas station used to be, which has been turned into a community area. And people were there, they were chanting.
Fucking invented this mic. They fucking should be fired.
Years, hoping for the maximum sentence that the family had asked for. And then they kept saying 1 down, 3 to go. So their minds are on the next 3 officers who are facing trial in this particular case. But they are all here waiting, some people watching, most people sort of talking among each other about what this year and a few months has been like for them. And also just kind of keeping an eye on the square, which they do every day, all day long. There's always someone here watching out for the square. So that's kind of been the reaction here for a lot of folks. Is they want to see a penalty that is heavy. They want it to be commiserate with what a regular citizen, as Derek Chauvin is, would face in this case. And that's kind of what you're hearing from the crowd. Folks have been very calm, and every now and then you'll see the emotion come out. You'll see the chanting happen, and you'll see the tears flow, because many of these folks have been out here the whole time, every day in some capacity, oftentimes growing plants, for example, in the shed over there that's a makeshift shed that they built.
How is it now, Brendan?
Taking those out and caring for this place and trying to protect it and keep it from being run over, destroyed, vandalized. There are, all manner of folks who come out here from all different walks of life, from a former professional basketball player to someone who was convicted and went to prison.
I pretty much just broke the metal piece around it.
To young kids.
I MacGyvered it just for now. I'll have to splurge and spend
have brought, but
money on an actual thing that's not a piece of crap. So
it's not worry. I think a lot of people here believe
thank you
that
for helping me though, bro.
that sentence will be fair, that will be just. But
I'll just use it for now.
we're seeing people come together, be together, try to understand that there is Jay Webb, Jay the Gardener, they call him. He's the one who created the community garden and has these plants going here. And so, like I
It's
said,
good?
earlier,
It's good, Brendan?
professional basketball player who played overseas, you will see all the work. There are people coming from all over. I've talked to people from Austin, Texas. Coming out, you've got really small people like coming out here to pay their respect. You know that today is the day of former officers there.
Yeah, we just about 10 minutes left. 15 minutes until we see and we expect that for Derek Chauvin to be sentenced. Sarah Sider, stand by for us. Let me come back to you, Jennifer. The defense attorney here, Eric Nelson, is asking for probation, and that that Derek Chauvin gets time served.
Hope this Raiders jersey fits me.
When you ask for probation, do you do your client a disservice by suggesting or asking for something that I think most people would say that
I gotta try these shirts on later to see if they even fit me.
Are you doing a disservice to the client?
Well, it's interesting, Victor, because he asked for probation in the papers and then sort of in a backhanded way, but really he was arguing for the guideline sentence here because he knows.
Fresno street preacher Derek Chauvin was doing his job. George Floyd is wicked, got what he deserved. Hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm definitely no George Floyd supporter, that's for sure.
Like probation, you got to go talk to a guy once a month, your probation officer. You don't go to prison at all. But they said is not going to
Anybody
happen.
that does
And that's
that
why
type
I
of shit
think
to
really,
women,
the judge, he backed away from that and instead said,
I have no
guideline
respect
sentences
for.
are where it should be. That's what the legislature.
I don't know if you know the story that I'm saying, Brendan, but Derek Chauvin once kicked the front door into a woman's house, a pregnant woman, and held her at gunpoint and put a gun to the woman's stomach and robbed her.
So the aggravating factors under Minnesota law enable the judge to go.
So I'm definitely I'm not a George Floyd supporter at all, actually. But I think Derek Chauvin's gonna have.
On the probation point, here's how ridiculous that is. If the judge were to grant probation, Derek Chauvin would walk out.
George Floyd, not George Floyd.
And I think that was an insult to the court and attack.
Derek Chauvin is he's gonna get charged with something though. He's gonna get sentenced for something, and I don't see him getting less than 10 years with how this played out in court, but we'll have to see what happens. I think they should be coming back from recess in 5 minutes.
Well, I'm sure the departments across the country are on alert.
Sean, how does my mic sound now with the guard over it and my audio settings?
George Floyd and the demonstrations that really sum up turning violent that took place in different cities, you have to be.
Wait, who are you not responding to?
Just in case.
Curly?
The protests that take place as a result of the sentencing. So I think that's pretty much what you'll see, not just in Minneapolis, but in other cities as well.
Okay, cool.
It's interesting that Eric Nelson said that.
Cool, thanks, Sean.
The sentence that comes down from the judge.
Oh, okay.
Equal parts.
It's all right, Brendan.
That it's too lenient or draconian. I don't think equal parts at all. And I think that in terms of the question you asked about what is the message, why do you put people in prison? In some ways, it's to punish, incapacitate if somebody might do something bad, to rehabilitate, but also to deter, to send a message to tell the next person you don't want to.
Oh man, they're really playing this out here. I just want to find out what the sentence is, take a shower, and then come back and call the New York Metropolitans game.
I think that's been a big part of the problem with the black community, is that when police officers do stuff, you see these videos, nobody goes to jail, they barely get time off paid. You're sending a green light saying this is okay, this is okay. This is the first time that you feel like maybe you're going to finally get a deterrence message, that there is a line. If you cross that line, you got to do big time, not little time, big time. And so deterrence has to be a part of it.
And if I can add to Van's point, you were saying earlier, there's a
I'm gonna take a shower after we get this drawn out trial, and then I'm gonna come back at 4, and I'm gonna be live from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight because I have to cover the Mets game. I have to cover the Islanders game at 8. I have to cover Bellator MMA that starts at 7 p.m. and then PFL MMA on ESPN at 10 p.m. their main card. So I have tons of sports that I have to cover that are going to overlap each other, but I just want to take a shower after I find the sentencing, and then I'm going to come right back because my Mets are playing at 4:10 p.m., right, Sean? 4:10 p.m. the Mets play. So, but you were 100% right, man, Sean Mack. This is no, not 24 hour. I'm going from 4 p.m. to midnight tonight. That's what is that? 8 hours.
It's a weighty thing. When you're the judge and you're going to take away someone's freedom.
I was saying, Sean Mack, you're right. This is kind of a ratings grab right now. They're just playing this out, telling stuff we already know. I just want to get the prison sentence. I might do a quick lift, and then I'm going to jump in the shower and come right back. God. How do you, Brendan and Sean Mack and anybody else that's here, how do you feel about there being 2 monuments on the East Coast of George Floyd? I believe one is in the city here in New York, and the other one I think is in New Jersey. They really made monuments of this guy.
They probably had some.
It's crazy, man.
I haven't seen the people who have been on the side of Derek Chauvin show a lot of concern for those mothers, and there are millions of them who sit in those courtrooms and who don't have the support and who shed real tears. And so, for me, I just think that this is showing, I think, people how this thing works. And when you have someone saying to a judge who's seen what we all saw, my special hugs, I'm gonna miss. There's a little bit of tone deafness there. I thought the lawyers for Derek Chauvin did a better job of trying to be not so tone deaf. The mom, I think, made it worse.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was tough to take. Look, there's undoubtedly enormous human suffering here, but the vast majority of it is on the other side of the courtroom.
15-minute recess to determine what.
So what does everybody think?
We already kind of told you that. Were you not listening? I think everybody's in agreement that's going to be more than 10 years, but less than 30.
Give me that paper. You get your microphone working?
Yeah. I'm lying, please.
That the country doesn't feel as
Oh, leave it.
In other words, there's something about this case. You were bracing for the sucker punch. We were afraid to hope during the trial.
But they're not national monuments, and it's different. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't erect monuments of the guy. I mean, George Floyd. There's one in the city and there's one in Jersey.
So who's wrecking them?
What? I said I wouldn't erect monuments of them. They've already been, like, defaced and everything. I'm just saying there shouldn't be monuments of George Floyd.
No, I don't think so either. I agree with that.
And again, even the mother, I don't fault the mother for wanting to protect her son. She loves him. I mean, the bottom line is he should be.
It's been about 15 minutes. Can we please get to the sentencing, guys?
In my opinion,
What a ratings grab. It's a ratings grab. They're just playing this out for the ratings.
Well, this is CNN. What does
It's on every channel.
What's his face? What's that guy's name? Fox. What do they say?
I don't know. I don't watch Fox. The thing that I'm worried about, though, is if the prison sentence does come light, if it's under 10 years, man, I don't feel comfortable being in that city if the prison sentence is light.
I think he deserves a very harsh sentence. I think actually the prosecution was doing him a favor by just recommending 30 30 years. So, you know,
Take a shower.
I just hope that the judge takes all these things into consideration, but ultimately, he does what is needed in this particular case. And I do think it needs to be a message because he tainted not only Minneapolis, he tainted the entire profession of policing. He became
It's amazing how this guy is like a hero to a lot of people. It's really,
and I resent what he did, and I resent the
I don't know.
that's resulted from him because I know that is not.
I wouldn't want to see somebody die like that, even if they have, you know, things in their past. I wouldn't want one of my relatives to die like that, but the guy's not a fucking hero. He's not a hero. Look at his rap sheet. Look what he did to members of his own community.
I can't see the full scope of the picture there to tell you how many people are there. But they are waiting. We're in a 15-minute break now. Looks like we're coming up close to the end of that.
It's been longer than 15 minutes. What are you talking about, dude?
Let's go back to Cup Foods. We know
But when you go off?
Sarah Seidner has been there speaking with people. I understand that you have some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna I might lift real quick, and then I'll come in a portion of the Mets game,
every single day.
and then I'm gonna shower myself and then jump right back on.
And say more than yes or no. What did you think about his comments that he
I guess the judge is gonna be super, super thorough and take his time to.
Or something in those terms. What do you think of what he said? Did he apologize in your mind to the Floyd family?
No, I don't think that's apologize. I don't think that he was being sarcastic to the family. First of all, one more of a piece of a man that you can give a family when you took their own brother's life and you took their brother's in life in your hands. You kneel down on this man with your.
There's a lady holding a neo-Nazi pig. It's a pig that says neo-Nazi.
You had animosity, man, against this man. You had enough time to think before you did what you did, and you cared not to speak. You look like this.
I'm certainly not going to defend Derek Chauvin's action on that day, but for anybody that doesn't know, Derek Chauvin was married to a minority. And if he was a neo-Nazi, the neo-Nazi groups would come after him and kill him. I'm not defending Derek Chauvin on what he did that day, but he's not a neo-Nazi.
Sarah, listen, some of you may not like the language that you heard.
Oh, they just cut that lady off for cussing. One of the Black Lives Matter supporters. They just cut her off for cussing.
See what the sentence is for Derek Chauvin. But let me come back to you, Jennifer. The significance of having no criminal history. The crime here, the judge finds particularly cruel here. But when you work on a point system, explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about that with my uncle all the time. Whenever these things happen,
So there are really two issues with sentencing. There's the crime itself and the facts of the crime.
I don't understand the whole logic of going to your own town and rioting and destroying local businesses, mom and pop shops, going to the big box stores and breaking in the front door and stealing that big screen TV. You know, at that point, you're not doing it for the person that you're protesting for. So, oh, we're back in the court, Sean. We're back in the court, guys. Here we go. Here we go. This is going to be very interesting.
Both from the Floyd family and the Vance family. I've read.
I'll be honest with you, Brendan, I don't think so.
And listened carefully at all the input here today, and it is truly appreciated that you took the time to sit with this case and to provide me with input.
All right, the judge is giving a little statement.
Present the investigation and carefully considered all the facts of the case and the law. But my comments are actually going to be very brief.
His comments are going to be brief, then you're going to get to the statement. Here we go.
Because most of it's going to be in writing. I have a 22-page memorandum that is going to be attached to the sentencing order. And why am I doing it in writing? To emphasize the fact that determining the appropriate sentence in any case, and in this case, is a legal analysis. It's applying the rule of law to the facts of an individual and specific case. And that is why, as opposed to trying to be profound here on the record, I prefer that you read the legal analysis that explains how.
Come on, Judge, let's go. You said you were going to be brief.
What the case is, or what the sentence is not based on, is emotion or sympathy.
It's not based on emotion or sympathy, says the judge.
The deep and tremendous pain that all the families are feeling, especially the Floyd family. You have our sympathies. And I
Giving sympathy to the George Floyd family.
The pain that you are feeling. I acknowledge the pain not only of those in this courtroom, but the Floyd family who are outside.
Derek Chauvin looking on.
And other members of the community. It has been painful throughout Hennepin County, throughout the state of Minnesota, and even the country. But most importantly, we need to recognize the pain of the Floyd family. I'm not going to attempt to be profound or clever, because it's not the appropriate time. I'm not basing my sentence also on public opinion.
The judge just said he's not basing his sentencing on public opinion
Attempt to send any messages.
or to send any messages.
The trial court judge, the job of a trial court judge is to apply the law to specific facts and to deal with individual cases. And so, Mr. Chauvin, as to count one, based on
Count one, here we go, count one.
guilty of unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2, parent 1. It is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense.
Okay.
Pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 60904, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses of count 1. As a sentence for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months.
270 months.
10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months.
So 10 years so far.
This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority.
So 10 years
Particular cruelty shown to George.
so far.
You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life.
Yeah, 10 years, count one.
As required by law. Register as a predatory offender as required by law. And then you will receive a copy of the order and also the attached memorandum explaining the court's analysis. Anything further from the state?
If this needs to be said, we just ask that it be executed forthwith.
Defendant is remanded to custody of the sheriff to be transported back to DOC or whichever custody is currently holding. Anything from the feds? All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
Wait, it says Derek Chauvin sentenced to 21 and a half years for George Floyd's.
Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 22 and a half years for the murder of George Floyd. Will serve 15 years of that because you serve 2/3 of the time sentence.
No, it's 22 and a half years, but he has to serve 15 years.
This is a serious sentence. Derek Chauvin will be in prison 15 years. He's 45 now until he's 60.
And they said he has to serve 15 years.
I think the judge should have sentenced him more. Minnesota guidelines say you can double the 15 years if there's one aggravator. This judge found 4 aggravators and didn't really come super close to doubling it.
Very disappointing.
Of course, they go right to Van, and Van's like, I'm disappointed.
For victimless crimes of drug possession, very disappointing. The level
15 years, I don't think people will. No, you're not wrong, Brendan. You're not wrong. There'll be a lot of people that are unhappy that he didn't get life, but I just never saw him getting life. I never saw him getting more than,
it's a punch in the gut.
30 years. I said 10 years, and he's going to have to serve at least 15 years before he could be paroled.
Is worth more than
15 years. And law enforcement across the country should look at something like this and say, look, you can't do this type of stuff. You're never going to come.
So the sentence is 22 and a half years.
Yeah, I mean, the sentence isn't 15 years, so the sentence is 22 and a half years. So the 2/3 is good behavior. You know, that's a
But if he has good behavior,
consider that one.
he'll be done with his prison sentence in 15 years, which, how old will he be? He's like 40, right?
That
So,
said, I do think also that it was like you all do. 30 years.
so he'll be like 55. If he doesn't get in trouble in prison, he'll serve 15 years and be out with good behavior. So,
What I kind of thought it would wind up being is 22 and a half. That's the judge's decision.
I mean, look, the sentence itself is 22 and a half years. So that's still a decent amount of 22 and a half years, but you have to serve 15 with 22 and a half years, but you have to serve at least 15, and then he can be paroled after 15.
And that's important.
He'll be out in 15 years because he's probably not going to break any laws in prison.
What did he look like when he was sentenced?
Same he
Straight face.
wouldn't. He had no personality. He probably already knew what his sentencing was going to be.
But again, you know, that's a judge's decision.
Probably.
He made the decision.
He'll appeal it in 90 days, though.
That's what they will.
22.
The people are screaming and yelling outside. Why? You got 22 and a half years.
Not enough? They want more?
They wanted life, but life was never really going to be on the table. There's tons of people crying like, guys, come on. Stop being snowflakes. The judge did the best that he could with the sentencing that he had on the table. 22 and a half years is it's a solid sentence. That's just my opinion as a criminal justice major. I never saw Derek Chauvin getting 40 or more years, 30 or more years.
Just for 22 and a half years for Derek Chauvin for the murder of George
I was surprised they even put 22 and a half years on the paper because, like I was saying, I thought 10 to 15 years, and I really thought 10 years. So the fact that he has to serve a mandatory of 15 years,
regardless of the sentence for Derek Chauvin,
I don't know. I'm a little torn too, but the dude was never going to get life in prison.
All right, our coverage, of course, will continue.
All right, well, that's that. I got to finish my workout, take a shower, and then I got to jump back on for the New York Mets game. I'm hoping Minneapolis doesn't burn to ashes tonight.
Welcome to the Leon Dick Tapper, and we start with the breaking news in our national lead just moments ago.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it, Sean.
Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin sentenced to
22 years, 6 months. That's what it is on paper, and he will have to serve 15 years. I'm very concerned with the amount of people outside looking distraught. I'm hoping that, and I hope they don't, I hope there's no riots.
While Chauvin's defense team argued that Chauvin should get probation or a lighter sentence. Chauvin, of course, was convicted.
We can't afford to have any more innocent business owners lose their the businesses. So
Chauvin, of course, kneeled on the neck of George Floyd.
I'm gonna stay here a minute just to hear what they're saying, real quick.
George Floyd's tragic final moments were captured on cell phone video. CNN Sarah Sider is live for us in Minneapolis at George Floyd Square.
Oh, it's my birthday month? Just leave that there. I have to try that on.
Was announced 270 months, 22 and a half years.
I will.
Yeah, I think folks were chanting here George Floyd's name, and this is the group of people who have
All right, they're outside.
been here for more than a year.
There's a lot of
A whole host of folks who come out on a daily basis.
people there. Some of them look okay. Some of them are smiling. I don't see too many distraught people in this location.
I hope they're not going to be rioting.
I just said that. I hope they don't do that.
I mean, up to 30 years. But it was enough for them to feel that at least there was.
Okay, so reporter is.
I'll just give you a scene, because I know you've seen it many times before, on what things look like now, here out at the square. It is calm. People are
Okay, it's calm.
heartened that there is
For now.
at least,
We have to see what happens tonight, but it looks relatively calm.
But they were expecting
People of all races and colors there.
Why
People
does
were
he
crying, hoping for the
thing,
absolute
a
maximum
statue
in
like
this
that?
case.
Got them all over the world.
But I don't know for what reason. They want to rip down anything that.
Yeah, that's what Sean said. When it gets dark, there will be riots for sure. Well, there'll be people that just want to riot just to riot,
Yeah, of
just
course.
to do it, and they're not doing it in George Floyd's name.
Right.
They're not doing it because they're upset. They just want to steal things and
They
riot.
want to be smart asses.
Well, it's more than being a smartass.
No, they just want to be disruptive.
Yes.
There is
And that's a stupid reason.
to what Derek Chauvin said, because this is really the first time that people have heard more than a yes or no sort of answer to a question.
All right, so where this reporter is, though, Sean, there's not really anybody that's distraught. It looks like everybody's okay with the prison sentence. They were showing one lady who was a leader of the group, some rights group. She was causing a fucking scene, but everybody else is, you know. And these are probably the educated people. These are the people that followed it and knew what Derek Chauvin would likely be charged with. They weren't putting all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. So.
And Sarah, just to follow up on that, I was surprised when Derek Chauvin said that as well. Do you have any idea what he was talking about?
What I find interesting, though, is Derek Chauvin said that in his little quick testimony, Derek Chauvin said there'll be more testimony and there'll be more things that will keep you at peace.
Judging from the videos that they have all seen over and over, and the fact that you were convicted of murdering their brother, their family member, in a slow, sort of meticulous way, it's got a lot of folks talking around here.
Yeah, and just to be clear, my understanding is that the state guidelines that the judge was following suggested that the sentence for Derek Chauvin could be anywhere from 12 and a half to 40 years. So the low end would be 12 and a half, the high end would be 40.
They're saying the low end was 12 and a half, the high end was actually 40 years on the table, but
yeah, there's a sentencing guideline.
There's a guideline, and you know.
And so that's kind of the range in which many people that are convicted of second-degree unintentional.
Yeah, they did, and you know he could be out though.
The judge has done more than
He could be out though in 15 years, and there was a couple of people there guarding Guardians of Chaos that were really distraught with that. They wanted more. They wanted 40 years. They wanted life in prison, but that was never going to happen. If he makes it out, he will have to do federal time, so he basically got life. Is that right? You know, George Floyd has another thing that he's being indicted on when he beat the kid with a flashlight and choked him out. So.
Yeah, Jay. So coming up next, at some point in the next few minutes, we're expecting to hear from Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison,
I gotta.
who's led the prosecutorial team over this, and then we'll hear.
He's not getting out in 15 years, Guardian?
A pretty intense reaction once that sentence actually came down, including from people who are part of an unfortunate fraternity. I noted in particular Justin Blake, who's the uncle of Jacob Blake, if you remember, was shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Your nephew wasn't killed in that case, thankfully, but in this case, I saw your reaction when the sentence came down for Derek Chauvin. Why did you react that way, and what do you want people to know about what this means?
I just think we're taking small victories at a time. We're building blocks towards the victory that we ultimately want. I think they could have given more time personally, but you're in a different state where there's different.
I don't know. The analyst, Guardians, the analyst said that if he has good behavior, he could be out in 15 years.
Good, bad, and ugly. We're with the Floyd family, the Taylor family, the Andersons, and all. So even when we don't get the perfect turnout we got a victory today. We've got a police officer who's never been to jail in Chicago, but they put the first guy away. He only got 3 years.
Does he have more pending? I didn't know if he does or he doesn't. I know he has another pending. He has a whole nother pending thing because he has to. He's indicted on another charge of
they're not stellar. They're not throwing stuff in the air. But I promise you tonight, the killer of their son, their brother, their loved one is going to jail. Not for the time he should be that I think he should, or anybody else. But they got some type of victory today. We came in to support them, and anybody who said they're supporting the Floyd family should be happy for them right now.
Justin, thank you so much for taking the time, Justin. I appreciate it. Let me, so as we talk about the sentence moving forward, we mentioned we'll hear from the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, but a lot of what Justin said is being reflected here that they felt they wanted more. And I should note, the 22 and a half years that Derek Chauvin got was 7.5 years lower than what prosecutors wanted. And you heard the judge cite in his sentencing comments about those aggravating factors that he found were present in this, the abuse of authority for one. And so he filed that 22-page memo where he's going to detail more of his explanation of what happened. And I should also note that in Minnesota, the guidelines are when you're sentenced, you serve 2/3 of that sentence mandatory. And then for Derek Chauvin in particular, if he shows good behavior or he's in good standing, he's eligible to serve that final third under supervised release. So when you put that in context, that's sort of a lot of the discussion that's here, trying to make people realize how many years this is actually going to be. And the last point I'll make is, on top of that, you have to remember there are 2 federal cases still pending against Derek Chauvin.
Oh, you were right. Yeah, you were right. There's 2.
That'll happen later on.
There's 2 federal cases left for Derek Chauvin, so everybody needs to take a chill pill out there. There's 2 other things he'll get charged with. Plus, he's indicted on the charge for beating up the minor 5 years ago or whatever it was. So everybody needs to take a chill pill out there in Minneapolis. There's other charges coming for Derek Chauvin. He might not see the light of day.
That have been charged at both the state and federal level in this, and the other federal case comes from a 2017 incident where he allegedly hit a
So Derek Chauvin has 2 other federal charges, and then he's also indicted on the assault on a minor several years ago. So really 3 other things, and everybody in Minneapolis needs to just take a chill pill. Don't burn anything. Don't loot anything. There's more charges for Derek Chauvin. He might not see the light of day, pending on those 2 federal charges he's going to have, and then whatever happens with the assault on the minor. So
let's discuss this with our panel: CNN's W. Kamau Bell, psychologist Alfie Breland-Noble, former acting Baltimore Police Commissioner Anthony.
Yeah, everybody out there needs to stop acting like snowflakes. This is a good charge. It's a good sentence. And there's more charges and sentencing likely to come very soon for Derek Chauvin.
The criminal justice system is an imperfect tool for justice.
Here comes Kamau Bell. Dude, W. Kamau Bell, whatever his name is. Watch, he's going to give us a sob story now.
George Floyd in front of all of us, but we have to think of all
some comedian that hates white people.
If Darnell Frazier hadn't been there with their camera, if there hadn't been all those Black Lives Matter protests, if there hadn't been all that pressure, if we hadn't had white Americans sitting at home during the pandemic to watch that video over and over again, I believe he'd still be an officer on the streets right now. So
see how anti-white he is. That's his whole shtick. He has a whole show on CNN.
This is what I'm talking about. There's racism right there in a nutshell. Okay.
He gets away with it all the time, and he has a show on CNN.
Saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's not racism.
Listen to her. She'll say some racist shit too.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Racism isn't just about the black movement. It applies to everybody. Look what's happening to Asian people. This country has gone so backwards now that it's just...
We should be not rejoicing, but we should be, glad about the progress. But at the same time, it is such a struggle.
All right, I'm starting to get pissed off by Mr. Bell and the whole anti-white rhetoric that they're spreading right now.
Knowing that this man is not coming back, but I am glad that Derek Chauvin is going to prison.
Oh, well, good. Good for you. We're glad you're glad.
Not happy with the sentence. I thought it would be heavier.
Oh, God. I like him. I like him, too. That's Anthony Barksdale, former acting police commissioner of Baltimore.
Well, what does everybody have to say about Asian people? Why are they getting beaten up in the street?
But this is a message.
And that's allowed.
Politicians.
It shouldn't be, but it doesn't get playtime.
But that's part of racism too. It's
Doesn't get
not just
playtime.
about black. It's about everybody.
Properly trained and supervisors are supervising.
This is what I'm talking about. This is where the news people
Are irresponsible.
messes up everybody else.
But here's the thing.
No, they're pushing it too far now.
Derek Chauvin has gotten sentenced to 22 and a half
Okay,
years.
fine.
He
He's
has
not done
2
yet.
other federal charges, and then he's indicted on the assault of the minor, where he beat the kid with a flashlight and
Exactly.
choked him unconscious.
So he's not done
He's
yet.
not done yet. There's going to be more to come. I think they were expecting he was going to get life in
40,
prison
and I think
for
they
George
thought, yeah,
Floyd.
I think that's what they thought. He'd
No,
get
I
40
thought he was.
years.
I thought he was going to get 10 years. He got almost double that. So I was wrong. He got more than double that, and there's more charges to come. But they're pushing the narrative like he should have been. He should have gotten lethal injection. He should have gotten
But this is
life
the
in
media.
prison.
Okay,
That's what they do.
this
That's
is
their
the
narrative.
media. But this is the media. This is why a lot of CNN, ABC, CBS, they're not equal across the board.
You're
with
screaming
me.
in my ear.
I'm not.
Yeah,
They're
you are.
not equal across the board. Okay, the media gets to fuel all this and pump everybody up even some more, so that people are unkind to whatever you are. If they don't like you or they don't like the way you look, if you have
I can't believe Bell said that. Bell said if there wasn't a pandemic and white people weren't home on their couches, Derek Chauvin would have walked free with no charge. I can't believe he just said that and got away with saying that. It wasn't just white people that were home from the pandemic, by the way.
Yeah, Sean, but it shouldn't just apply to black people. It should apply to all people. I have a disabled son, and I have people that look at him weirdly, like he's not normal. So it's not just about black people. It's just about people just generally being mean.
My hope is that he takes the time to learn something about the man.
Minnesota Attorney General
And about the movement
speaks after Chauvin said anything.
in the wake of George Floyd's.
Sean agrees with everything that you're
Get
saying.
mom the mic filter? Why, I need to be filtered?
I don't
For
know.
our country.
Am I saying something bad?
I don't
I'm not
know.
cursing.
This case is
Stop asking me questions, please.
But by itself, it's not enough. My hope for our country is that this moment gives us pause and allows us to rededicate ourselves to the real.
That's the whole legal team that Eric Nelson was up against. That is the dream team of attorneys, I do have to say. That persecution,
About the kind of change that takes decades.
very convincing and worked extremely hard.
Concrete change that real people can do now. I'm talking to lawmakers. At this historic moment, there is so much legislation around the country. In city councils, county boards, state legislatures, and Congress that is still waiting to be passed. If
I was
these
going to
bills
buy you
were
a real
passed,
mic for
they
your
would make
birthday.
the deaths
Hey, get me a real mic for my
of
birthday.
enforcement officers
Instead of
less
this
likely.
This is just temporary at
stuff
this
that you
point.
keep buying. So then,
To restore trust
not to
and
cover
therefore
the sound, Travis
cooperation.
was complaining
Improve the
about.
lives of officers who want to protect and serve.
Oh, from the mic?
Every one of these bills at every level of government.
Yeah, the
is
filter's on
critical
it.
for helping our families, our law enforcement officers, communities, and the country heal.
Pick out a nice mic. I thought I was going to buy you. I just didn't know what kind.
I don't know either.
Oh, well,
Justice and
maybe
Policing
somebody can
Act.
help you with it.
I call on leaders and members of Congress to pass the
Don't
best
ask
and
me
strongest
questions I
version
don't
of this
know.
bill that can
Okay.
be passed, and to pass it now.
He's quoting what I just
Biden
said.
called on the Congress to pass this bill. It must be passed. Lives are depending upon it.
It's the George Floyd reform bill. George Floyd police reform bill.
Law enforcement leaders. That this is
So many other names they could have went with.
leaders are in a position to finally put in place policy, training, mechanisms, and accountability.
Did this guy actually have a record? Did he have a record? I mean,
Which
he
guy?
George Floyd. Did he have some? Did he have run-ins with the law?
Yeah.
Does everybody?
He kicked in the front door of some pregnant woman's house.
Is that really true?
In the middle of he went to jail for it in the middle of the night and held a gun to her stomach and pistol whipped her in front of her child while she was pregnant with her other child, pretending to be with the Port Water Authority, and pistol whipped her twice while his homies fucking robbed her, amongst other things.
All
a little less
Well,
safe.
then why is there a statue of him? That you should
Because
have a
they're
statue.
making him the superhero martyr.
Well, I don't think he deserves a statue for that.
I don't think it should be
Still
called the George
criminal.
Floyd Reform Bill. It should be called the Martin Luther King Reform Bill or something like
Yeah.
that.
I agree. That's
We have a
good
monument of him in New York.
Right.
Your officers are asking for.
I agree with that.
In the aftermath
Not a hero. He wasn't a good person.
Minneapolis police
Yeah, he had a long list of drug charges as well, Sean.
condemning Derek Chauvin's
I'm not by all means saying anybody with a drug problem is a deserves to die, but he had other charges as well, distribution and whatnot, possession. He tried to get himself cleaned up. He tried to go to rehab many
I
times.
agree with you. I don't think they should have called it
The George Floyd Reform
I don't
Bill, and
think it
there's
should.
fucking monuments of him everywhere.
But I don't think they should have used that. There are so many other African American men that have done good across the board that they could have named that bill in.
Everybody seems to
Just making
forget.
a point.
Everybody seems to forget the young lady that he
Well,
pistol
they-
whipped and held
well,
at
they forgot
gunpoint and
about
held the
that.
stomach, held the gun to her stomach and said, "I'm going to kill you and your baby if you don't give me your
Did his
valuables."
lawyer ever bring that up?
No, you're not allowed to. It has nothing to do with this case.
Derek Floyd's crime inflicted upon the reputation of officers is undermining the ability.
I almost got Burger King last night, Sean. I
and
feel your
that
pain.
is very tragic. It's not fair to judge all police officers.
All right, I gotta get out of here. Finish my workout. Take a shower. I'll come back in the middle of the Mets game for tonight's festivities. Cool, man. Look, I don't think I want to specify one thing before I go. As much as George Floyd did heinous things, I don't believe he deserved to die the way he died. I wouldn't hang out with either guy, George Floyd or Derek Chauvin. I'm not condoning anything that either of them did. I would not be friends with either of them. I think this is a good sentence that came out of it. I thought it was actually going to be a little bit less. But remember, there's more charges to come, federal charges for Derek. And yeah, I just want to specify, look, you guys see my girl, you know what color she is. You could see me, you can see what color I am. I'm not a racist. There's just certain things where we make George Floyd out to be a superhero and that he was this great person. And maybe he was trying to become this great person, but he's done tons of evil, heinous things in his past. Again, he didn't deserve to die the way that he died. But I wouldn't hang out with Chauvin or Floyd. So I just want to specify that. I'm not on anybody's side here. I don't like either guys. But if I'm dissecting it from what I see, look, he allegedly gave someone a fake $20 bill and he ended up dying over it. I don't think he deserved to die that way for that crime, but I don't condone anything else George Floyd did, and I don't condone anything Chauvin did. I just want to specify that. And, normally I don't even do these things anymore, like the political stuff, but I've already covered so much of it that I had to cover, today's sentencing, and we'll get back to sports in a little bit. And that's it. I just wanted to, clarify a few things. Yeah, see you guys later.